I think as a nurse, for me, this crisis is so scary. As a parent of middle school and high school kids, it's heartbreaking. It scares me. This is a place of wellness school. It's not a place of certainly death, but that kids could die at any moment here on campus breaks my heart. I think for us, something that we want to educate people on is a sort of a change in behavior of a student. They're kind of withdrawn or not acting themselves, not being involved in the activities that they are usually. They may be drowsy more often than not, looking to get out of things, getting into trouble, those sorts of things. When that wasn't their usual behavior, those can be signs.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of kids are feeling desperate to get help for different things, anxiety, depression, stress at home or at school. And it might not always be obvious to family or teachers because it can look different in teenagers. So they might be withdrawn, have very low energy, trouble sleeping. Instead of being overtly sad or crying, that might be irritable. And it's hard for them to express that to people they care about to get help.
I think that what we're looking for is someone who their mental status is altered in one way or the other. A lot of times we'll see some slurred speech or some sentences that might not make sense. They're drowsy, they're quick to fall asleep. They may wake up when you're stimulating them, but they may doze right back off into sort of a deep sleep. Their breathing, of course, if they're dozing off, may be shallow, slow, that sort of thing. You may barely see their chest rise and fall. They may be snoring, that sort of thing. We want immediate attention for that person. Their skin may appear pale, bluish around the lips, mouth, fingertips, and may feel cold to the touch as well. We as nurses are going to look at their eyes, their pupils. If you notice that their eyes aren't really, the black part of their eye is very, very small and it doesn't react, then that is a sign of opioid use as well.
One, that they're probably terrified because the decision that they've made and the choices that they've made that have led them to the position that they're in right now is scary. And it's not what they meant to do when they decided to take that one pill and they decided that that was going to be the good time that they were going to have that day. And it can change in the blink of an eye. It's hard to get them to understand that it can be okay. And once again, I go back to honesty. I need to know what, I need to know when, I need to know how much, and then we can start fixing it. The best case scenario is when the kid's like, I think this is bad. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I'm not getting any air. Things don't make sense anymore. And that's the easiest fix, right? You start an IV, you give them Narcan, they're awake, they're talking, they need to go to the hospital because Narcan isn't the be-all, end-all, and it only works for so long. The worst case is winding up in like a traumatic brain injury institute because your brain was without oxygen for so long because you weren't breathing on your own that you can no longer function. You can't lift your fork and feed yourself. You can't go to the restroom without assistance if you can get out of bed to go at all. And being on a ventilator for the rest of your life or being unable to walk or unable to sit upright or feed yourself is a real possibility when your brain goes without oxygen. The basic takeaway is that we're chasing the clock every time 911's called, and we can't be there at the drop of a dime every single time, and we don't have enough Narcan to save people every single time. And you have people who are gonna get lucky, and you have people that aren't. And at the end of the day, you'll have people who walk away seemingly unscathed, or you have people that die, and we can't change that.
When a child comes in for a checkup or for a mental health concern, we talk about it. What are you doing to help? What have you found as help? Do you want help? We ask about risk-taking. Sometimes it's hard for teenagers to share that. So we often use an online confidential screener, just a quick screen, a list of questions to see if we can identify kids who are needing help, especially who might need help right away. So when I meet with kids and review their screens, a lot of times they're relieved. They may have put things on there that they're going through that they've never shared with anyone. And letting them know that I appreciate their honesty and that I'm here to help them and thank you for sharing. And I always ask kids, do you want to feel better? And they always say yes. When kids are suffering with their mental health, they need to talk to a mental health professional right away to make sure that they're safe, to make sure that they know they can share, they can continue to share. We don't want it to stop at that screen. We need them to keep talking and keep sharing because they do want help, and there is help out there. There is therapy and support groups and all kinds of things that kids can engage in. We just have to identify them and get them where they need to be.